One of the biggest and most common challenges for newcomers to Canada is finding a job. I remember when I first came to Canada, wala akong kakilala at wala akong kamag-anak dito. So hindi ko alam kung paano ako magsisimula, saan ako pupunta o kanino ako hihingi ng tulong. Magpapasa ba ako ng resume online or ipapasa ko in person sa kumpanya? Mag-a-apply ba ako sa mga agency dito? That's why in this episode, I will share you tips and strategies on how to find a job as a newcomer in Canada. Finding work in a new country is difficult. I remember when I first came to Canada, one of my top priorities was, of course, to look for a job. And honestly, akala ko madali lang makahanap ng trabaho dito. I'll just write my resume and submit my job applications online. Turns out, I was wrong. Weeks have passed pero wala pa ring tumatawag sa akin for an interview. And then I tried another strategy, and that is to apply in person, pero in the end, the staff would tell me that all job applications should be done online. This experience has left me feeling really confused and frustrated. However, with focus and motivation, it is possible to find the right job for you here in Canada. There are many different ways and resources to help you find a job in Canada as a newcomer. The more ways and resources you use, the better your chances in landing a job. That's why today we're going to talk about the different strategies that you can do to look for a job as a newcomer. First is to identify goals and research. One mistake that many job seekers do is not applying a goal-setting strategy to their application process. Marami akong nakilalang newcomers who just pass their resume online to whichever company is hiring, and they just hope and pray to get any kind of job. So it doesn't work that way. The truth is, your resume and how you do your job search can only be truly effective when it is tailored to a specific goal. So, what do you really want to achieve in terms of your career here in Canada? How will you do this? So, for example, kung gusto mo maging engineer dito sa Canada, ano-ano mga requirements na kailangan mong malaman para maging engineer dito? Ano yung mga steps na kailangan mong gawin? So, you may not know what your goals are right away, and that's perfectly normal. So, natatandaan ko, back in my home country, I had a lot of experience in several different careers. And when I arrived here in Canada, I was actually confused on which career path I should take. So, what I did was to list all the possible careers or jobs that I would like to get into, and did a lot of research about the steps for each career path that I listed. That's why it's a good idea to do your research and gather information on several possible paths. You can begin by looking at the different industries here in Canada, finding out if your credentials are valid in Canada and whether or not your profession is regulated or non-regulated. You can start by looking at the labor market information to see trends related to your profession in Canada. So, Job Bank is a very good website where you can get labor market information about your occupation. So, it gives you information about wages, job outlook, education, and job requirements on a particular city here in Canada. So next is to create a Canadian-style resume. So your resume is key to finding jobs here in Canada. Employers will generally assess your qualifications for the job based on this document alone. However, the resume format in Canada may be different from what we used to do back in the Philippines. So, for example, sa Pilipinas, most of the time we include our personal details such as age, religion, marital status, and even include a photo in our resume. However, here in Canada, it is not acceptable to include these details to prevent any potential bias from the employer. In Canada, a resume should be short and straightforward. Most people have a resume that is 2 pages long. So, the Canadian-style resume must contain the following details. First is the contact information. Second is your professional or career summary or highlights of qualifications. Third is your work experience. And fourth is your education or professional development. Remember, it is important to market yourself so you can differentiate yourself from the crowd. In creating your resume, make sure to highlight your achievements instead of simply listing your duties in each role. So it is best to include this information in the work experience section of your resume. So one very good website where you can get information about how to write a Canadian-style resume is settlement.org. You can also download a sample from this website. So learn more by typing Canadian-style resume in the search box. So third is to avail government-funded employment programs. Many community agencies here in Canada have free employment programs and services in place to help you get started with your job search. These centers have services such as one-on-one counseling and workshops on career planning, job search techniques, resume writing and interview skills, job matching and placement, and so much more. So most of these centers have tools and resources such as computers, internet access, photocopiers, job postings, and other materials to help you look for a job. So to look for an employment center in your area, please visit the official website of your province and look for employment-related information. Next is to build and expand your network. No matter how impressive your background is, how many years of experience you're working in your field, when you arrive in Canada, nobody knows what you have done, who you are, or what you are capable of doing. That is why networking is one of the most valuable job search tools here in Canada, because connecting with people will make you visible. It will increase your exposure. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng networking? Networking means building a network of people to support you during your job search. So in some cases, that means people who can help you give advice about your job search, where to find more information about the company, and so on. But in other cases, it means building a network of other people who have similar jobs, interests, or work in the sector where you want to work. So, paano nga ba mag-network dito sa Canada? You can make personal and professional contacts through volunteering, taking an educational class, joining a club or professional association, participating in social activities, conducting information interviews, and so much more. Next is to have a strong social online presence. Social media can be very helpful when looking for a job. So sites such as LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook can be used to connect with companies that you might be interested in. So here in Canada, LinkedIn is considered a powerful networking tool that makes it easy for job seekers to connect with employees of organizations that might be hiring or may know someone who is. You can also search for jobs in the company's LinkedIn page as well. For those who are not familiar with LinkedIn, it is a social media platform that allows you to make a profile that showcases your professional accomplishments. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, you may consider getting one, or if you do have one, please make sure to update and polish your profile. You can also like and follow a company's page on Facebook and Twitter in order to collect information about the company and be updated with their trends and job opportunities. Always remember that social media platforms reflect your personality and always, to an extent, mirror your professionalism. You can market yourself to potential employers by using social media right. I hope that you have learned a lot about the different ways on how you can find a job in Canada. During your job search, makaka-experience ka ng rejection, may mga times na mapapagod ka nakaka-apply or mafe-feel mo na gusto mo nang sumuko. But always remember, success is not the absence of failure. It's the persistence through failure. Take every failure or rejection as a learning opportunity and stepping stone to grow as a person until you achieve your goals here in Canada. Finding a job is not going to be easy, but always stay positive, be patient, and be persistent.